Hey everyone, in this video we visit the Fort Riley National Historic Site, which is on Roanoke Island, North Carolina in the present-day Outer Banks. And we visit the site of the famous Lost Colony of Roanoke and also the site of the later Freedmen's Colony, which was a part of the Underground Railroad in the Civil War era. I did not remember to film an intro to this when we were there and filmed these clips, but I hope you enjoy it and you really appreciate this part of history. So this, I believe, is the official marker stating that back in 1585, English colonists set out to establish a settlement in the New World. It is hard to read because of recent rain, but they settled here and were unsuccessful. And it also states that Virginia Dare was the first English child officially documented to be born here in America. So somewhere in this area was the original fort that the English did establish until they moved to what is believed to be now Hatteras Island. That's the current visitor center. And it was somewhere in this area that the word Croatoan was found on the tree. And on the back of this stone there is a memorial message. It is pretty hard to make out once again because of the rain and time, but I do believe it is in honor of the founders of Roanoke, and it does list some other names, so I'm not quite sure. Can't quote me on this. But once again, this is the former site or former area of the first site of the first English settlement here in America, with the birth of Virginia Dare being documented, not to be confused with Jamestown, which is the first permanent English settlement, and St. Augustine, which was established by Spain. And here we have a reconstruction of the earthen fort that was used by the English settlers as they attempted to establish this colony. Not very big, but for its function, it did serve its purpose. This obviously was not big enough to hold the entire colony. And that site where the people, or the colonists, lived has actually never been found, as well as the Croatoan tree, because after 500 years, it has been lost to nature. And of course, the landscape is a lot different than it was back then. And this site is actually the first attempt at colonization in America by the English. The first permanent colony was at Jamestown, Virginia, but the first colony that has actually been permanent and is actually still in existence today is actually in St. Augustine, Florida, and that was established by Spain. So it's very confusing sometimes in history, but I just wanted to make that clear. But this was the first attempt, but it does not get credit because the site was abandoned and it did not become a permanent settlement. But that was our trip to Roanoke Island. Behind me, you can see Nag's Head back in the distance. I don't know how clear it comes out, but this is what the colonists would have seen, and also those who settled in the later Freedmen's Colony. I did include some information on that as well. I might insert some pictures I took in the museum they have. This is a great place to come if you love history, if you love the history of the colonists, Civil War history, anything like that. It really, I think is a special place, especially when it comes to the roots of this country. But that was our day. I enjoyed myself, and I hope you enjoyed it too. See you in the next one.